Yes, let me welcome you again. I'm really happy to today the panel on advanced approaches to digitization in the context of smart cities and sustainable communities, a really interesting and actual topic. And here today we have a panel of professionals with whom I'm really excited to be discussing a lot of the different but complementary aspects that relate to this topic, perhaps in a way. From general concepts and principles of turning cities from traditional to digital to smart, examples of infrastructure and technologies that help enforce these principles. We'll also be discussing strategic plans of different municipalities in our part of the world, and also have a chat on change management and standardization. And before making the introductions officially, I really encourage our audience to write in the chat any questions in real time. We will be having short 7 to 8 maximum presentations from the panelists, and then we'll have a Q&A session. So feel free to address your questions in real time, and we will be taking them later in the Q&A part of the panel today. So how are we doing on the technical side? Just checking in. So let me make some introductions slowly but surely. So today we have Ms. Paulina Mitra in the panel. She's the coordinator of the Brain City of the Cluj IT cluster and leader of the Smart City unit of Digital Innovation Hub for us at Cluj IT. She's a PhD in high performance computing and image processing. She has both academic and research activity at the Technical University of Cluj-Napoca and in computer science dedicated research institute. Ms. Mitra also holds a CTO position in a software company. Peter Birta, he is a contracted partner of Senso Media Group for international business development. And also he is a CEO of Cellcore Industrial Technology. He has 20 years of experience in system integration and wireless networks, communication security systems, and the distribution of industrial products in 2019. So today he will be talking to us about logistics infrastructure needed for the digitization of smart cities. Today in the panel we also have Mr. Liviu Stanciu, representative of Alba Iulia municipality. Alba Iulia, as you may know, was recognized as the first smart city of Romania. And today we'll have a presentation about their key priorities of the municipality in terms of digitalization. Mr. Stanciu is working with the municipality, especially on the side of a European project. The main job being coordinating the implementation and development of smart city strategy for Alba Iulia together with the Cluj IT cluster. So we're really keen to learn more about the actual implementations in Alba Iulia. Moreover, we have Ms. Cristina Popa. She is head of technical committees and standardization at ASTRO. And together we'll discuss all the different aspects related both to European and international standards in the field of digitalization. Also, we're joined today by Mr. Haris Palalia, if I pronounce it correctly, from BIT Alliance. He works as operation manager in BIT Alliance, which is the leading association of IT companies in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Currently, he's in charge of the implementation of projects and programs in the area of IT education, digitalization, and startups. BIT Alliance is a lead partner on the recently started project Smart Cities towards the digitalization of cities in Bosnia and Herzegovina, in which city authorities have had the opportunity to create a vision and a roadmap for digitization using smart city concept. And last but not least, we have Ms. Nadia Sultanova from Urban Impact Ventures. She's the head of Urban Network in the Urban Impact Venture, an impact venture capital investor based in the Netherlands. Before that, she has held various roles in urban innovation and digitalization, including as the head of investment and business development at the Sofia Investment Agency, the investment promotion arm of the Bulgarian capital, and also director of digitalization and innovation at Sofia municipality. And Ms. Sultanova has great experience in innovative urban projects, in the area of citizen participation, e-services, open data, intelligent cities, human-centric e-service design, and data-driven policymaking. So to kick off the panel today, I invite Ms. Paulina Mitra to start with her presentation. You have the floor.
Okay, thank you, Katerina, for your presentation. I will share my screen in order to be able to look at my presentation with everybody. Please see you my screen? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Just turn it to full screen mode and it will be perfect.
I will turn on slideshow. Yes. So, my presentation will be about the integrated approach to the issue of digitalization in the context of smart, sustainable cities and communities. And as an overview and a starting principle, the digitalization and the digital transformation are the core mechanisms in the context of smart, sustainable cities, communities. And actually, the digitalization and the digital transformation push our world on the next levels of evolution. So is a very, very important process. This process takes place in four stages, or four levels. First, we have the digital city level, after the smart city level, the intelligent city, and finally the sub-intelligence level, so-called brain city, and the details are here on this slide. The digital city, in the case of the digital city, the urban ecosystem is supported by various ICT, IoT, CPS applications without being integrated and interoperable from the very beginning. But on the next level of the smart city, these ICT, IoT, CPS applications are integrated and interoperable in the urban cloud. On the next level of the intelligent city, these ICT, IoT, and cyber physical system applications are integrated and interoperable on the urban cloud, but they are able to interact autonomously with each other to dynamically optimize their actions locally. And on the highest level, or this level of the super intelligent city, these ICT, IoT, CPS applications are imply a lot of AI, AR and VR, and they are integrated and interoperable in the urban cloud, and they are able to interact autonomously both with each other and with the so-called central brain of the whole ecosystem to optimize dynamically, globally, and predictively the actions of the ecosystem components. And on this highest level, we will need to get used to living with the robots, the sensors, the AR, the VR, the AI. So it's a huge challenge, and this is a future. So this is a target, our target. Anyhow, how we will organize to reach this highest level. We must take our ecosystem as being structured on 12 pillars, actually. The e-administration, the mobility, the smart mobility, the e-health, the smart utilities, the smart digitalized education, smart energy, e-tourism, smart environment, e-businesses, including Industry 4.0 and 5.0, actually. The public safety, smart, intelligent public safety, and smart housing, intelligent buildings, and all this ecosystem is protected by the cybersecurity, which is a general envelope and protect all the pillars of the ecosystem. But first of all is to define very clearly these terms of digitization versus digitalization, because they are very different. So they are very well connected, but they are different in the meaning that the digitization is the process of converting information into a digital format. The result is the representation of an object, image, sound, document, or signal by generating a series of digits that describe a discrete set of dots of samples, technically speaking. So the digitization is the basis of the digitalization process. About the digitalization, if digitization consists of a conversion of data into formats supported by computing systems, the digitalization consists of a transformation which includes the ability of digital technology to collect data and process them in order to computerize processes in all areas, activity sectors, and life contexts of any nature, so socio-economic, administrative, and human of any kind. The aim being to optimize speed up interpersonal interaction with priority for those between individuals and authorities, to facilitate the interoperability of processes from all levels of activity and living, to establish trends and make decisions assisted by relevant information and any decision-making level. So the sectors of human community of any size that need the digitalization are all these 12 pillars of the smart sustainable city or community ecosystem, which was presented in the previous slide. As fundamental principles here, we have these principles shown in this slide. So first of all, interoperability, integration over all sectors and their internal levels, orientation on the needs of the citizens in any of their hypostases. Scaling is very important, scaling on the size of each type of community. So county residents, municipalities, other municipalities, cities, communes, iteration of the stage of evolutions that are to be followed in the immediate short-term and long-term perspective, namely, first, digitalized community, after smart community, intelligent community, and super intelligent community based on advanced AI and robotics as shown before. Standards and indicator-based approach, and we have a presentation with the standards in this domain in this panel. Open data, except for non-public data. Open digitalization standards, so open source, open architecture, in order to avoid captive client situations, very important. The main steps of digitalization process are shown on this slide. So the iteration, the concrete iterations, first of all is to ensuring the data collection and storage infrastructure by structuring the data centers in the context of a cloud-based architecture, for example, ensuring the data processing infrastructure, so local and mobile computing stations and processing centers integrated also in the cloud-based architecture, identifying the processes to be digitalized at the level of each activity sector, prioritizing the processes to be digitalized, generating computerized applications of the processes identified according to the prioritization and their development in an integrated manner, and finally generating platforms to ensure the integration of digitalized application and elements at the level of each sector, as well as the interoperability between sectors globally. So it's a huge challenge, this digitalization process, but we can see this process with three main stages. So first, the digitization, after the digitalization, and after the digital transformation. And because I defined already the digitization and the digitalization, now is to speak about the digital transformation and to show that this process involved first radical change of formal systems, in the second hand, policy change at the level of process management, and after a cultural change at the level of institution, as well as at the global level of the targeted field in any of 12 fields and sectors of the smart brain city ecosystems. So in order to have a synthetic view, I prepared here on this slide a synthetic diagram of the roadmap, and here you can see these three stages connected in the this roadmap, and a few details about them, but I will show you the detailed diagram for the public administration, which is the main pillar of this smart brain city ecosystems and of the digitalization actually. Here you can see the level of ensuring the data collection infrastructure and data storage infrastructure in digital format specific to the field of public administration. After we go to the digitization process of all data, information, and records of any kind, including analog records. After we can start the digitalization of all processes, but before that, ensuring the data processing and infrastructure specific to the field of public administration, local and mobile computing stations, plus processing centers integrated in the cloud architectures, which are dedicated for this pillar of e-administration. And after all of this, we'll work on the digital transformation, and perhaps in parallel, in order to increase the speed of reaching the levels we have to attend. So performing the global digital transformation of the context and the domain of public administration. First of all, the radical change of formal systems. So this means implement all the procedures which are in the which held in the context of the public administration. The policies change and the cultural change, which means trainings, demos, regulation related to the use of digital systems in the context of the public administration institutions, as well as at the level of citizens, because the citizens are the main main end users of these systems. Behind this philosophy is the technical and the technological aspect. So I will show you in a few slides some technical models of digitalization. And here in this slide, we have the IoT-oriented approach. You can see here the sensing level, so the level of the sensors, the network layer, and the application layer in this domain of the IoT-oriented approach. And here we have the service-oriented approach, but because the service is provided to all the actors of the smart digitalized city community ecosystem is very important. In the left side of the slide, you can see the data flow. So starting from the sensor systems and public data sources, going to the data acquisition services and data and metadata management systems, and finally going to the urban lighting systems, urban compliance systems, water management systems, and all other pillars of the smart digitalized city ecosystem. And all of these are in the benefit of the public administration staff, but mainly on the benefit of the citizens. The citizens are in the center of this all this construction. In the right side of the slide, you can see all the levels, the physical, the infrastructure as a service, the platform as a service, the software as a service level, and finally to go on the market, the specific market which is targeted on this main actors of the smart digitalized city ecosystem. On this slide, I detail just a little other three very important pillars of the smart digitalized city ecosystem. So the energy, smart energy, mobility, water, and in the core of the slide, they are this mechanism to manage the processes on the cloud and on several levels of technological levels. Discussing about data acquired by the sensors, we know already they are massive data. So it's needed to to have a big data architecture framework. And here you can see very, very compressed and very well structured this data flow. So from the data acquisition from the sensors, video analytics from cameras, local analytics made at local level, and after migrating all the data in the cloud architecture. So here we have the streaming analytics and batch analytics, visualization and interpretations of data. And because this data flow is very important, I detailed just a little here. This flow is the system backend and the system front end shown here, and is useful in order to show at all the public administration representatives, which means this technology which is behind all the process. Each small box from these diagrams is a very, very complex process. So this digitalization, I said before, is a huge challenge and is to make to be made very fast. So here is a concrete image of what we will reach in the sector of the, I don't know, we are in the street of the smart digitalized city, and we have smart lighting, smart management of the traffic, so and the parking. So we will be very happy when all of these elements will be solved, so in this digitalization process. And here is a general cloud integration architecture which integrates all these aspects, so it's a hybrid approach. You know, samples of these 12 pillars of the smart city ecosystem in the middle of the diagram, and behind the several hybrid architectures I shown in the slides before. And the final result is to provide each citizen, each actor in the each level of actors, the mayor, the middle managers, the managers of all institutions from the ecosystem, and all the citizens, the possibility to access all the resources, sure, is based on access rights, and is a very important issue in cybersecurity. To provide the possibility to access data, to access resources, to start to work with the applications and the platforms included in this huge architecture. So this is the future. Thank you very much. And if you have questions, please ask me.
Thank you a lot, Ms. Mitria. I actually have a question I'd like to address while just having this context that you have presented in such detail. Could you tell us maybe a few of what do you believe are the most relevant principles? So we saw the 12 pillars of digitalization and turning cities smart. What do you believe are the most important principles and the most actionable to reach these levels of smart and intelligent and then brain city?
Thank you for your question, Ekaterina. So the most important is this principle of have the citizen very well centered. So all this construction is citizen oriented, is in the benefit of citizens, of all of us, in order to have a better life, rapid support for our interactions, and so this is the most important focus. In order to reach this focus, we must take into account the integration of all the processes in order to assure the interoperability between the process, interoperability of the data and the communication between the processes in order to reach this standard, to don't have papers to go with them, public administration and other institutions, this paperless principle. And then we'll be very happy, all of us. But the integration, the interoperability, the standardization, and I said we'll have details about the standards which are to be followed. So they are the most important one, and to have this speed, this adoption of the solutions, the speed in the adoption of the solution by everybody, because is in our interest, in our benefits. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your inputs, and thank you very much for the presentation at the beginning of this panel. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Peter Birta with the presentation on the practical side, on the infrastructure and tools needed for reaching the level of smart cities. So, Peter, the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to involving this nice event. I'm very happy to get the invitation from Cluj IT Cluster. So we are happy to be here and tell some information about Sensomedia and also Cellcore Ltd. I'm also happy to introduce Mr. Gábor Balla. He's also on the screen. He's the business development manager of Sensomedia Group, and we are doing the international business together. So I tried to share my screen and the presentation, and we tried to keep this presentation together with Gábor. So let's see the first page of the, yeah, just a moment. Okay. I hope that you can see the first page.
It's loading. Yes.
Yeah, great. So what we are talking about, the smart city solutions relating to Sensomedia company, but I just would like to tell some words about Cellcore Industrial Technology Ltd, which I'm the responsible for this kind of company, and I have a good partnership and cooperation with IT Cluster Cluj. We are dealing with special industrial devices for international market, which is including industrial type of tablet PCs, PDAs, which is quite good and fit for smart education, public safety, and also smart buildings, smart homes. But we have also opportunity to provide our partners high level of Wi-Fi networks, outdoor and indoor also. And we have a very special communication system, which we are named POC technology, which is providing push-to-talk communication via LTE radio system. On that kind of communication system, you are able to reach many people in the same time in a global LTE radio network. So if somebody has some request about the special industrial devices or wireless network, then I'm happy to help. And let's see the main topic of the Sensomedia portfolio regarding the Sensomedia Group products, and I take the voice to Mr. Gábor Balla to take the introduction of Sensomedia now.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So I will just short try to give you a short overview of our activity. Yeah, basically, Sensomedia was established in 2011, and we started with digital signage products, mainly for shopping malls. In this regard, has information kiosk, wayfinding solutions, and also in the retail sector, where we made many advertising campaigns. by now we have a team of more than 70 people, and we try always and we try to continuously make researches and development. So by now we have more than 70 products. These are basically hardware products with innovative software solutions. Altogether, we try to keep as many departments as possible in one hand, because that's a key factor for us to be able to react fast and to keep our flexibility. Hardware development, software development, designing our products. We have our own creative department, and we produce our products ourselves. This is one of our key on the next slide. Sorry, I see. Could you please go to the next slide?
Yeah, you could see the next slide, Gabor?
No, not yet.
Not yet. This one?
No, it's
The
no,
same.
it's refreshing. Yes. Slide 5, please. Sorry, I didn't see that it was not refreshing.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a page 5 you can see, or the page 4?
Yeah, on page 4.
Page 4. So should I move to page 5?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So this is the Sensor Eye, which is integrated in all of our products, and yeah, it's important to mention that we are not recording any images. We are just creating statistical reports. With altogether over 90% of accuracy, we are able to detect the age, the gender, and the mood of the people who are looking basically at our devices. On the next slide, you can see. Could you please show the next slide?
Yeah. Okay. This next slide is already showing the page 6.
Yes, thank you. We are in almost all of the shopping malls in Hungary. This is 30 in numbers. Every year we have approximately over 80 billion registered faces. That's and since 2015 we had over 2,500 advertising campaigns. Altogether, on the next slide there is a map showing our how much, or how many devices we have on the Hungarian market. We have a few interesting projects also internationally. We are developing the complex communication ticket system for the government of Uganda, and we have several smart petrol projects in many European countries and in Malta itself. On the next slide,
I changed to page 8. You can see.
yes, thank you very much.
Great.
Yeah, we have more than 150 payment terminals on the market in Hungary and in Europe. We developed these payment terminals. We started to develop them in approximately 2017, and since that time we could install over 150 of them. These terminals make over 67 million USD transaction amount every year. And in this case, it's quite important, I think. Here we are also collecting as many data as possible, and just an example is that since there is the option of using our terminals, the premium view increased by 10% compared to past performance. Altogether, on the next slide, you can see that in our administration interface, you can generate countless of diagrams, statistical data, filtering by demography, period, locations, and of course you can measure here the effectivity of the advertisement or of the usage of the software by the age, by gender of the community. Yeah, I like to give the voice back then to Mr. Peter Dieter, and he will introduce you some of our products and the fields they are meant for.
That's great, Gabor. Thank you for the introduction of the Sensomedia and also the numbers what we have in the market. I have just a short few minutes to speaking about the portfolio of the Sensomedia group. So let's see the slides beforehand. As you can see this picture, that we have a solution for smart cities, the shopping malls, public transportation, airports, stadiums, petrol station. And for the next slides, you can see the real devices what we have in the portfolio. So we have the self-service terminals, which you are able to do many transactions, purchasing cash, using the paying methods of many different kind of services, what you are able to do. And for the next slide, you can see the quite good solutions. We are named Digital Oasis, which is able to provide you a quite good solution for outdoor selling information that's for tourists, for helping for education, also for e-administration, to providing local information, maps, scheduling of the public transport, many useful information. What we are doing, we are also implementing this kind of digital oasis with inbuilt hand sanitizer solution and also digital information system. Also, we are providing comfortable seating if it's necessary, or some charging solution for e-bikes or smartphones. The next slide, you can see also one of the nice solutions that we have. This is a future playground, which is an interactive field with touchscreen for young children, and you can see they really like to play with it, and they are we are able to produce this kind of playground in other countries, also in Romania and other countries, to help for the children to get a good information, taking some education for them, and there is a lot of opportunity to help the local governments, the schools, the kindergartens to have the solution for it. And of course, next slide for the info communication. Ask what we are able to provide you, different size, different functionality, and if you have some such a request for this kind of to help you to listening your demands and help you to find the best solution what your city or what your building is needed. And of course that we have an all-pay terminal, what we are able to integrate the self-petrol station, but also festivals, events. We are able to help you to provide more information about these products and solution. So finally, I'm not time to finalize the presentation really, but on that picture you are able to see that what kind of solution Sensomedia has, and we are very happy to provide you more technical data and starting the discussion remotely via Zoom or other to help you to understand the Sensomedia portfolio. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the opportunity to showing the Sensomedia and Cellcore itself.
Thanks a lot, Peter and Gabor. This is really exciting indeed. And I'm really personally looking forward to seeing patients in our cities as well. And happy to have and take the conversation offline afterwards or following the panel. Thank you too. And next I would like to suggest to move on to the case of Alba Iulia municipality and have Mr. Liviu Stanciu discuss the priorities in terms of transitioning to a smart city and experience of Alba Iulia. So Mr. Stanciu, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ekaterina. I would start with presenting a little bit our smart initiatives within the Alba Iulia Smart City Pilot project that we developed since 2017 till 2019. We managed to contract to have more than 100 pilot projects, small pilot projects, with almost 45 private companies. We managed to implement and to test all these smart solutions on the private companies' costs. So the municipality wasn't financially implied with this, only with logistics and human resources. So it was the first initiative in Romania to find out what is a smart city. We discovered a lot of things. We discovered that a smart city is very, very far away and is very, very hard to implement. It's very structured and it's very complicated for a municipality to transform, to make a digital transformation, as Mrs. Paulina Mitra said, to digital transform a city. A city is a very complex concept at philosophical level, and only at infrastructure level and human level also. We were focused on citizens, but to arrive in the citizens' application, the citizens' phones, at the citizens' fingers, we had a municipality have to implement the easiest ways and the easiest solution in order to gain adoption. A smart city solution have to have a simple rule in order to be feasible, to have adoption and to be utilized at the maximum potential. Let's say if you have a smart solution that it's great and it's working flawlessly within the city, but nobody uses it. That would be a big problem regarding the costs, regarding the utility, because we are talking about utility. It could move the oceans, but if nobody uses it, it's a dead smart solution. And we are trying now, after testing so many solutions within the pilot project, we are trying now to contract to implement only very, very, very relevant solutions. But we cannot do this if we don't have a strategy to follow. So starting 2019, we wrote and filed some projects, and we gained some financing in order to create and to update our smart integration urban development strategy, and to develop a brand new smart city strategy. We are working with Cluj IT cluster, and Mrs. Paulina Mitra is here. She is the coordinator on behalf of Cluj IT cluster, and I am glad that we are working with people that fully understand what is a smart city, not only at the municipal level, but at the structural level. This is important not for us, because we don't want to see this very, very structured and very, very complicated graphics about a brain city, about a smart city. The citizen is not interested in that, and we are not interested in see the back end of a smart city. We are interested to see what a municipality have to do in order to make a smart, to transform a city in a smart city. So at the level of understanding and of communication, we are working so well with Cluj IT cluster, because we are only interested in a strategy that is useful for us, for the people within the municipality, and for the citizens. What is in the back end, the process that are in the back end, the provider have to deal with them, not us. So this is important. Maybe it sounds strange, but this is important for a municipality, because a municipality is not a developer, it's a beneficiary. So the is an intermediate somehow beneficiary, because the real beneficiary is the citizen. So this year we will have this smart strategy developed. Cluj cluster will provide us the strategy until the end of the year, and we will start to work on this strategy to implement small solutions and big solutions. But big solutions need money, need big money. The local budget is not very is not for transforming the city, but to do the basic things in the city. The other budgets, the EU fund budgets, these are the main value and valuable funds, because with European money we can bring into the city big smart solutions in order for all the citizens to benefit from them. So we are starting to implement some basic small smart city project within the building of the municipality, and within everything that we are doing within in our daily jobs within the municipality. So according to the strategies that we are developing, we will this year we will launch our first open data platform. I think is the first in Romania, with more than 10 sets of data. But this data is not very important for the final beneficiary, for the citizens. We are not only thinking about the citizens, the main beneficiary, the citizens, but we are thinking the business environment also. And the business environment and the investors need an open data platform in order for them to see where and how to invest in a city. A city without investors is not a smart city. A city without citizens that are not digitized and they are not trying to digitally transform themselves is not a smart city. A city with a town hall that is not digitized and is not a part of this digital transformation phenomenon is not a smart city. So having all these in mind, we are trying to benefit from the openness, from the kind opening of our mayor, Mr. Gabriel Plesha. He was scheduled to be in here with me in this panel, but something appeared in his agenda, and he's very sorry he cannot be present in this panel in order to present his vision of Alba Iulia Smart City. But he told me everything that I need to say on his behalf, and as I said to Mrs. Paulina Mitra, he is very open to digitalization, and he is keen to urge this digitalization, because the cities of Romania and all cities need to benefit from the digital transformation process. Why? It is very, very unusual and very, very strange in 2021 to work with paper and to take a paper from an office to another office. All these things can be done in a digitized way, and there are multiple companies that are providing digital solutions. But having a small budget, a small city budget, we have to write projects in order to implement the right solutions. So starting with the municipality, with the town hall, with our jobs, we will try to digitize. We want to digitize every process in the municipality, to map the process and then to digitize the process. And then to exit, to open throughout the city and the citizens, and to provide them with smart solutions in order for them not to pollute, not to do redundant mobility, and not to keep them occupied by taking a paper from here to another municipality building. We have 11 buildings that are pertaining to the town hall, and every building has its own management somehow. So starting with this, we want to digitize all the process, and then to implement big solutions. Talking about big solutions, we have two mobility projects summing around 32 million euros that are starting this autumn with smart solutions, with smart mobility solution. We will have dedicated bus lanes. We will have electric buses, 13 electric buses. We will have dedicated bike lanes. We will have smart bikes, 240 smart bikes at city level, and smart stations with charging and chargers and everything that is smart, with applications and everything that implies smart things. And we have also three big smart lighting projects, summing around 11 million euros, that we are starting to implement, segmented at the city level. And within this project, we will have sensors for the smart crossings around the city, almost 160 smart crossings, I think. And diming and a lot of sensors and a lot of data and a lot of a dispatch, a dedicated dispatch for this smart lighting, public smart lighting solution, and a lot of things that are smart within the lighting bulbs and the lighting poles.
Mr. Stanchu, just a quick minute. I need
Yes.
to intervene. We're running, the organizers are telling us we're running a bit behind time. So I would ask you to maybe sum up in a minute so we can manage to have the other presentations and a bit of time for Q&A. Sorry.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. So these are the main projects that we are developing right now at infrastructure level and in logistic level somehow. These strategies. I will sum up with the fact that Alba Iulia is not only the first smart city pilot in Romania, the first smart city pilot project tester in Romania, but also at the European level, we are recognized to be a bold city that is very open to transnational projects. We have a lot of transnational projects and to smart city solutions testing and acquiring. So this would be my presentation about what we are doing in Alba Iulia. I will end my presentation in here, and any question, I'm here, or in the chat you can write to me or you can ask directly. Thank you.
And this is really, we're really happy to see that Alba Iulia is a real pioneer in Romania and the region in terms of smart city implementation.
Thank you.
Thank you too. And next, I would like to turn to Ms. Sultanova. If you could let us know if your microphone is working or how are we doing technically. Yes.
Is
perfect.
it working?
Yes.
Great, wonderful.
Thank you. So yes, the floor is yours. Ms. Sultanova will be talking about aspects relating to digitalization in terms of e-government, change management processes, but also the funding, so the VC financing of innovation. The floor is yours, and please, with the mention in mind that we have for the presentation to around 6-7 minutes.
Absolutely. I'll be very quick. My first question is, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, you can see my slide. Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for the IT cluster for the invitation, and to the panelists. It's a true honor to be here, and I was very pleased to hear Alba Iulia speaking just before me. Really, really inspiring. So as it was mentioned in the introduction, for almost 5 years, I was a city manager involved in the digital projects of the city of Sofia. And one thing I kept sort of seeing over and over again, and it was this very fragmented approach and expectations from digitalization that we kept getting from our stakeholders, from citizens to politicians. So today I decided to briefly introduce you to an integrated approach framework that we developed with the team in order to do our job better, and to also tell you that as I moved away from city government into the world of urban impact, venture capital and impact sustainable finance, I realized that we missed the mark with that approach, and we missed a very important part of the puzzle. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. Urban Impact Ventures is an impact venture capital investor. We are on a mission to improve urban quality of life in Europe. And we'll do that by investing in entrepreneurs that support the sustainable transformation of Europe. We have 4 core investment teams. Those are mobility, livability, digital infrastructure, and physical infrastructure, with 24 sub-teams that are very wide as thematically, and they go from autonomous vehicles all the way to urban farming. And we measure the impact of our portfolio and of our investee companies via a framework that is aligned with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We believe that cities need better access to technology, innovation, and finance. And we also know that in order for cities to benefit from technology, innovation, and finance, they need to have a structure in place, structure of governance of specific urban entities that need to be in place and need to be doing their job in order for all this to happen. And if you allow me, I will dwell a little bit on that, just because, in my opinion, back in the day, 10 years ago, we approached this thing from the wrong end. What do I mean? In the beginning, there was technology. Urban planners and managers were seeing these new technologies pop up, and they were wondering whether they have applications in an urban setting. And they were very much helped and guided by large technology vendors. Eventually, we self-corrected and we adopted a people-centric approach. We put the citizen in the center. We started doing citizen workshops. We started tracking user journeys. We started asking the question, what if our citizen looks like this or looks like this? And by that time, all the departments were doing something. There was a lot of incompatibility, a lot of redundancy being introduced in the system. And when privacy and security issues became and risks became bigger, then we realized the need for governance. In an ideal world, maybe we should have done it reverse. So governance is where most of the cities in Europe are at this point. The cities who first introduced governance are probably, what, 5 to 8 years within that process. Everybody did it a little bit differently. If you look at the experience of London, Amsterdam, Barcelona, you name it, every city did it a little bit differently. So there's no universal way to govern digitalization, in my opinion. But there's one universal thing when it comes to governance, and that's the fact that it's difficult. It's a tricky business. It's a tricky business because we started from the wrong way in. It's a tricky business because there's a lot of internal and external resistance. And just one thing I decided to share is that, in my opinion, governance will be a lot easier if we look at it as a change management. Have clear goals, have a clear framework of what are we doing. We personally use this PRESS one, that is by Stanford. If I have to point out that what's the most important thing for me on this slide, that would be staffing for change. Recruiting the correct people that would be able to persuade, recruit, support, and energize. If you don't do that, you are basically lost. And now, what would be the task ahead of cities in the next 5 years would be adopting finance and learning how to manage and to access different financing resources. But pretty much once we do that, of course, academia, research, startups, they're also in the picture. But to me, this is a very somewhat complete picture of that framework that I talked about. Now comes the question, what are we going to use this for? I mean, making our citizens' life easy is a noble goal, but it's not sufficient, not ambitious enough in my view. When we worked on the strategy for digital transformation of Sofia, we took a little bit different approach, and we decided, okay, digitalization is actually an instrument for economic development. And our strategy was called a platform for smart growth. And we told that by opening government, utilities and transport to local solutions, we will create this market, and that will lead to the economic development. But as I said in the beginning, I don't think that anymore. This is a good strategy, but it's not ambitious enough, simply because cities have slightly bigger problems. It's not just economic development, it's a lot more. To give you two very random examples, 85% of the European population is expected to be living in cities. That will be a much older population than what we have now by 2050. How are we planning for that? How are we restructuring our urban environment? How how are we dealing with our mobility strategies and so on. That's a question. Another very random example, cities will be subject to climate change driven disasters. What are we doing about that? Apparently not much, at least according to the European Environment Agency. The report that they publish was actually very, very critical and a bit alarmist on what cities are doing to get ready for that climate. So we as a venture capital investor see opportunity in this situation, and we see 50 billion annual funding gap for sustainable transformation of cities and 1 billion annual opportunity to support entrepreneurs seeking to apply technology in urban infrastructure. So for us, the question is really how to improve local capacity for sustainable finance and how to eliminate barriers. And what we're currently doing is we're building a network of cities, entrepreneurs, and urban innovation stakeholders to support cities in their sustainable transformation. I'm open to talk to cities, entrepreneurs, and urban innovation players. Those are my contacts, and connect. Thank you. I hope I did well with time.
Thank you, Nadia. This was really, yes, it was perfect. Perfect timing. Thanks a lot. And it was a beautiful and really interesting
presentation, also answering some of the questions I had for the follow-up. So thanks a lot for perspective. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Cristina Popa from us, talking about the standardization aspects and the European and international perspective of standardization of digitalization of cities. So Ms. Popa, the floor is yours.
Just a second. In my quality of head of service for technical committees and the standardization sectors, I have come across different types of challenges regarding many fields of standardization. One recurrent challenge is how to convince stakeholders of the advantages and importance of using standards. I hope by the end of this presentation that I will be able to convince the relevant parties to be more open to using standards. When we try to assess the performance of a smart city, we use principles and metrics, indicators. These metrics and indicators can be provided by standards. Standards are technical documents that are drafted and prepared in technical committees, and I'm going to show you the most relevant ones. Just a second, I have it. The presentation is structured in a couple of issues: standards for the sustainable development of smart cities and communities, standards for ICT infrastructures, and some conclusion and recommendation. As I say, I'm going to be more brief in my presentation in order to respect the time allocated to this. So relevant technical committees, you can see here, the most important in connection with smart cities. Romanian technical committees are involved in the standardization activities concerning the development of standards for all systems within smart cities, including communication networks, power systems, smart homes, services, water supply, transportation. As Paulina said, and the other speakers before me, standards, the most important aspect of smart city is interoperability. And standards can enable this interoperability through the fact that are regarding different aspects as energy, mobility, buildings and homes, water distribution, public services. Cities are virtual organizations with countless systems and subsystems. The electric energy enables the function of all city systems, from public transport and smart mobility to public lighting, public safety, financial and administrative transaction, water distribution system, access and building control, waste management. Moreover, many systems are provided by different manufacturers, and to connect them, standardized interfaces are needed. Standards play a key role in the integration of smart devices and systems, the interoperability of interfaces, the equipment compatibility and communication between all stakeholders. The correlation between regulation and standards enables an efficient city management. So basically, standards are a sort of foundation with different requirements and metrics that are used after in different administrative provisions, regulations, and laws. Smart City is a virtual organization that identifies, develops, and implements modern technologies through standards for the planning, operating, and managing of the activities in the cities, the use of existing resources so as not to jeopardize the reserves of future generations, the ensuring the balance between the natural environment areas and the built environment areas, a continuous improvement of the quality of life of citizens, and environmental protection. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. So standards for smart cities are three categories: technical standards, standards which provide technical requirements for urban infrastructures, the energy supply, electrical and thermal energy, and gases, transportation, drinking water, waste disposal, ICT infrastructure, and also risk management standards. Standards for services and standards for strategies. Standards for the accessibility and interoperability of services, for example, the public safety, healthcare services, and also risk management standards. City administration and management standards, standards for metrics and performances. So the standards stimulate the innovation. They facilitate the optimal management of resources as well as the reduction of the impact of, on the environment. They set out requirements to improve the quality of life and services provided to citizens. Facilitate the transposition of best business practices, and set out technical requirements for monitoring functional performances. The standards for smart cities, you have here a couple of the most relevant standards. Presently, there are just 3 ISO standards adopted as Romanian standards. ISO 37120 is adopted as national standard, and it defines and establishes methodologies for a set of indicators to steer and measure the performance of city services and quality of life. 24 standards ISO and NIEC are recommended to be adopted. For example, ISO 37101 Sustainable Development in Communities Management System for Sustainable Development. Requirements with guidance for use in the reference base for sustainable cities. Also, we have standards for digitalisation of smart cities. These ICT standards ensure the interoperability, resilience, and cybersecurity. Implementation of the concept of digital economy in terms of correlating national regulation with Romanian standards in force, which adopts international and European standards of the information and communication technology. This type of standards provide technical solutions for the creation of common platforms that allow communication and exchange of information between different entities, both through communication networks of the same time and through communication networks of different types. Here are a couple of relevant standards for digitalization in smart cities. As far as I know, they are not adopted in this moment in Romania. Some conclusion and recommendation. All stakeholders can obtain benefits by the involvement in standardization work carried out within Romanian technical committees created in mirror to the international and European committees. The national regulators, authorities, shall maintain a closer collaboration with Romanian technical committees according to their competence domains, having in view that standards are intended to be generally used as technical basis for regulation. Participation in the standard development process of all national representatives of the industry, regulators, equipment manufacturers, professional associations, consumers, universities, etc. in the Romanian, European, and international technical committees. Standardization activity facilitates coordination of research, innovation, and development activities for the implementation of technologies that ensure sustainable economic and social development, improving the quality of life of citizens and protecting the environment, collaboration of professionals within relevant technical standardization committees, authorities, for the preparation of international and European standards for cybersecurity, new opportunities for collaboration in the context of digitalization of infrastructures and services, for example, energy, transport, health, medical informatics. Implementation of modern technologies such as artificial intelligence and the Internet of Things that allow the transformation of existing cities, communities into smart cities and communities. The adoption of international and European standards as Romanian standards by publishing the Romanian versions ensures correct implementation at national level of modern digitalization technologies for optimizing the functional performance of systems, interoperability of interfaces for efficient communication between integrated system and other actors, stakeholders, increasing energy efficiency and domestic industrial energy end user, ensuring citizens access to quality services, ensuring a high level education, ensuring a high level of quality of life, permanent correlation between national regulation and standards in force. Designation of national experts in the working groups of European and international technical committees for preparation of relevant standards, progressive adopting the international and European standards by publishing the Romanian version in order to facilitate the implementation of national regulation according to the provision of standardization law, National Standardization Law 163 from 2015.
I'm afraid we're running out of time. Oh, this was the last one.
Yes, yes.
Thanks. Interesting perspective in terms of providing the structure, but also seeing that the standards are moving together with the developments in tech. You mentioned IoT and all those other technologies that relate to smart cities.
Yes, a couple of things. Paulina and I, we are trying to draft and prepare a code in order to provide a framework for local authorities based on these standards, based on the indicators and metrics from these standards.
Okay. That's a great insight to hear that there is interoperability, interconnection in the work to achieve this set vision. So thanks a lot for your presentation, Ms. Popa. And the next and the last speaker, but not least, is Haris Palaria. Again, I hope I pronounced it correctly. We have only 6 minutes left, so I will ask you to just stay quick so we have some time for questions.
Okay. Can you just confirm that you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Wonderful. Well, my presentation is the last, so we heard and I heard a lot of similar issues. So I will just comment a few our reviews in implementation of smart cities. So yes, we have one pilot project here in Bosnia in 5 cities. And we started with this definition, which is defined in the European Commission. So the goal of our approach is to improve the capacity of local authorities in order to go in the process of digitalization and smart city concepts. We have partners from IT industries and also international partner GIZ from Germany, and the BIT Alliance as Association of IT companies. And the project started recently, just a couple months ago, and it will last for 3 years. So, okay, I will skip this. You saw enough diagrams for today. So, but one more, what is important is the 4 pillars we want to implement. It's Smart City Forum, what will be as a place for connecting and exploring the experiences between the cities and other stakeholders. Also raise awareness in the cities, because in most of the cities in Bosnia, we have a lot of space to learn about new technology and new smart city approaches, what can be implemented in their cities. And what is the key element of the project is creating a roadmap of the 5 cities, and after that we will implement also the demo solutions in the field of smart parking and smart reporting. So yeah, smart city action plan demo projects. Smart parking will be implemented in 3 cities, and smart reporting will be implemented in 2 cities. So we will be with the cities all these 3 years, and we will also them to create their also next steps after the project during the transition period. So these are dimensions that we are affecting. So hopefully we will have these cities to have smarter management, a smarter environment, smarter mobility, and smarter local economy. So I'm sorry, I had really small not enough time. So, but I'm open for all your questions.
Thank you, Haris. And it seems that, and it's a great thing to notice, that there's a lot of common grounds and common aspects and approaches to smart cities from the projects and cases you have presented with, let's say, case of Alba Iulia and the strategies we have seen in place. So just to conclude, firstly, thanks to all of you for the interesting presentations. And I think we have some really comprehensive view of what it takes to turn the city into a smart one. And to conclude, I would really would like to ask each of you to shortly mention from your personal and professional perspective, what would be the top challenge, but also the #1 opportunity you see in terms of digitalization of cities. So feel free to jump in, whoever wants to say first.
Well, I can go ahead since that was already sort of included in my presentation. So the biggest challenge for me is the way cities deal with sustainable transformation and all the challenges that will come to the physical and the social infrastructure. The biggest opportunity is the way that the fact that we now have the sustainable development goals that are gaining popularity. There's finance, there's awareness. So that's for me.
We just need to find the best way to together. Thank you. Who would like to go next?
Can I say, Katerina, the biggest challenge from my point of view is the adoption of the digitalization process by all the actors involved here, so all of us. So, this adoption must be helped by the roadmap, the steps which are to be done here. Step by step we'll go. Liviu said very well, we'll start with the basic things in each community, each city, but the opportunity, the very good opportunity is that many of our cities and communities are already digital cities somehow. So they have software platforms, software solutions, various software solutions. Somehow they have infrastructure, so computerized systems and mobile devices, sensors, and so on. But here, the presentation of our colleagues from Hungary was very good because they come with a new level of these devices, and this is very good, a good opportunity to go at the next steps. And also the standardization at the basis of all the process. Christina said very well, these standards and the indicators which are to be keeping in focus, they will lead us in order to reach very soon the highest levels of the digitalization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Well,
Go ahead.
If I may, well, in my opinion, I think that the data is like the founding of all the processes that we are involved in. So what we see now, at the moment, in one of the cities that we are piloting, we see that they have data, but it's all different formats. It's all the mess. So we must start from the beginning to create and to transform that data and teach them in that process to create meaningful data for machines, and then create maybe and implement new sensors and all other stuff that. And on top of that, you can plug in different solutions for our citizens. So that's I think the key challenge that we are facing now in the one city at the start.
Yeah,
agreed.
It's very true, Haris.
I think we're a bit behind time, so the following panel is already starting. I would like to thank all of you. I'm really sorry we didn't have more time to. These are really interesting and important topics for all of us to learn more about the cities. But I hope that our audience has takeaways and the insights they were looking for and more. So again, I would like to thank you, everyone, for your presentations and your insights and sharing your experience with us.
Innovation Days is part of the Future Skills lifelong learning program. The project is co-financed from the European Social Fund through the Human Capital Operational Program 2014-2020.